humans are not the only animal where we can think about, are they intelligent?
Right, so it's certainly clear. In this class, we've been talking about kind of lots of lay conceptions of intelligence, and one of the things that people often talk about is the intelligence of animals. They say, are other species intelligent? So in order to kind of give you a sense of the kinds of ways that scientists have addressed this question, I'm going to talk about a few studies that have been done with dogs. So people will often say some dogs are smarter than others, or some breeds are smarter than others. How would they go about assessing that? So there are a number of ways they've done that. One is comparing a species, i.e. dogs, that have grown up, co-evolved with humans, with species that have not. So for example, wolves, which are very similar. So one very famous study, it took puppies, both wolf puppies and dog puppies, and brought them up in identical environments. Once they grew up, it gave them a set of problems to solve. Now, one of the problems was they would put the pup, whether it was a dog or a wolf, in an enclosure, and there would be a bowl of delicious food outside, and that bowl would be tied to a piece of rope, and the rope would go inside the enclosure. And both the wolves and the dogs learnt that they could pull the rope, and that would bring the bowl closer to them, and then they could eat the delicious food. So once they had learned to do that, they changed the experiment up just a little bit. What they did was they fixed the bowl so that it wouldn't move. And then they went to see how will the wolves and the dogs respond. What they find is that the wolves will pull on the rope and it doesn't move, and they think that's strange. And they pull and they pull and they pull, and they just keep on pulling. When they put the dogs in this situation, they go to the rope, which has formerly been able to move and pull the bowl towards them, but doesn't now. They go and pull on the rope, it doesn't move, they think that's odd. They pull again, it doesn't move, and then they don't keep on pulling. At that point, they kind of turn around and they look at the humans saying, what's going on? And in a sense, going back to Paige's definition, this makes sense, right? Dogs have evolved with humans, so they have evolved to kind of navigate their environment, and their environment has always involved humans, working with humans to figure these things out. Another great experiment was done looking at observational learning. So let's say I'm going across a room and my hands are full. And so because my hands are full, I kind of try to turn the light switch on with my nose. I go, try to get my nose under the light switch and turn it on. So if Paige was watching me do that, when she went to turn the light switch on, she wouldn't feel she had to use her nose. She'd realize, okay, Sam's carrying boxes. That's why he couldn't use his hand. So she would use her hand to turn on the light switch. However, if I just went up to the light switch and there was nothing in my hands, but I still turned it on with my nose, it would be an odd activity. But Paige might look at it and think, okay, so there's something about this, because I could see that Sam could be using his hands but isn't. Maybe I have to, this light switch only works when turned on by a nose, or whatever it is, something like that. And it's been shown that babies will be able to do that. If you perform unnecessary action, they will learn from looking at others. They will perform the same action that is less easy, but they'll say, okay, why is the person modeling this doing it in a strange way? I need to do it in the same strange way. So what the researchers did was they set up an experiment which was the same. So they gave dogs a model dog, and the task was pulling on a rod, okay? And that rod could either be moved with the dog's mouth or with the dog's paw. Now, dogs always, if given the choice, prefer to do it with their mouth. That is their preferred way of moving this rod. So what they did, though, was they had the model dog, and that model dog, it went up to the rod and moved it with its paw, and the dog either had a ball in its mouth or it didn't have a ball in its mouth. And what they found was when the dogs watched the other dog move the rod with its paw when it had a ball in its mouth, they thought, oh, okay, it's obviously just using its paw because it already has something in its mouth, so that they would then go and move the rod themselves with their mouth, not with the paw. However, when the dogs watched another dog which didn't have anything in its mouth use its paw to move the rod, they too would use the paw to move its rod, which I think, indicates a very kind of sophisticated, something we would call intelligence in humans, and apply that concept to dogs as well. And there's all kinds of other ways. And we want to show you a great video now, which is about a dog called Chaser. Now, Chaser is very interesting because Chaser has learnt the names of hundreds of different objects, hundreds of different toys, and knows the names of all of them. And you can use that concept in order to test a form of its intelligence, reasoning by exclusion. And so we're going to take a look at that video now.
Fine meal. Fine meal.
Take Chaser, John Pilley's brainy border collie.
Good girl.
Let's see what she does when we challenge her with a new toy she's never seen or heard the name of. I smuggled this into your house. It's a Charles Darwin doll. Okay, so I put 7 toys behind the couch, plus Darwin. Chaser's never seen Darwin, hasn't even ever heard the name Darwin. So we're gonna see if she picks out Darwin by inference. That's what we're gonna check. I'm gonna call her down now. Chaser, come on back. Let's have some more fun. First, I'm gonna ask Chaser to find a couple of toys she already knows. Find Sugar.
Excellent, Chaser. Chaser, good.
Okay, put in a bin. Find Crawdad.
Excellent, excellent, a good job.
Okay, put in the tub. Put in the tub. Okay, here it comes. A name she's never heard before. Find Darwin. So while searching for the other toys, Chaser knew exactly which one to pick up right away. But now, she seems to have to think about which one might be Darwin. It's taking her longer. She takes so long, I call her back. Chaser? Find Darwin. Find Darwin. Finally, she makes a choice.
Darwin, it got Darwin.
I can't believe it. Chaser's never seen that doll before.
Darwin, that's Darwin. You're a good girl.
Yet somehow, she made the connection that the name she'd never heard before
You found Darwin.
went with the one toy she didn't recognize.
It's a good girl.
Chaser's not the only dog to do this.
That's Darwin.
And what's more, dogs like Chaser have shown that they will remember the connection they made between new name and new toy. This is yet another way they can learn.
All right, we love Chaser. We love Chaser and Darwin. So this is, reasoning, right? It's a novel problem in the dog's environment where they have to, figure out something by inference, by subtraction, right? And I
Various
think
cognitive tasks, it's memory and reasoning, so many different elements. It looks like intelligence, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I think once you start to think about the different ways that animals can be smart, the different ways that they can reason about their environment, you'll see that intelligence is all around us and it looks different than human intelligence. And it's a really exciting area of study.